Welcome back to the Upstroke podcast channel. Thank you, subscribers, for taking the time out of your day to click that subscribe button. Greatly appreciated. This episode is part 2 of Disabled and Driven. This is a series that I've put together to share with you my journey and how I'm going to rebuild my career as a disabled man. Check out part 1 if you've missed that. And if you're interested in following along with how I'm going to rebuild my career, whether you're disabled or not, I think the process may help. I do believe there is the perfect job out there for everybody. I've had several, and a couple of them were perfect at that time in my life. Others, not so much. The other day I was walking into the gym, and I don't know if any of you know any old farmer, ranchers, older bikers, older tradesmen. They definitely speak what's on their mind. You kind of have to take off that guard and shield for your emotions sometimes, because sometimes they can really tick you off. But at the same time, I just love how free they are to speak and say what they think. We have a lot to learn from the older people. Now that I'm one of them, pay attention out there. There's some wisdom in what they say. And it had just started snowing, so I'd made it from the truck to the front door of the gym. The big electric doors opened up, and this gentleman and his wife walked out. I'm kind of slipping a bit through the snow, and he said, if you put a snowplow on the front of that thing, you could make some money. So we have to think outside the box, especially when we have a disability. I think creativity at this time in our life is critical. We need to be able to adapt. And everybody has disabilities of one type or another, whether it be fear, anxiety, public speaking, on and on and on. There's so many. I remember this story when I had first gotten into sales about a Bible salesman. The owner of the Bible sales company had a nephew who had a speech impediment. So the owner walks in, tells Dave he wants to introduce him to his newest salesman, and he starts immediately. So let him know if you got any questions, but good luck. They shake hands, and off goes the owner. So Dave is like, oh my gosh, okay, well, the owner's nephew, what are you going to do? So he asks Sam if he's ever sold Bibles before. No, sir. Dave was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to go well. So he figures, well, what can he do? So he gives Sam 2 Bibles. Sam grabs the Bibles, and out the door he goes. Dave did not have high hopes. 20 minutes later, Sam walks back into his office. Do you have more Bibles? Dave's shocked and stunned. Nobody sells 2 Bibles in the first 20 minutes. Their record is 10 Bibles in one day. So he gives Sam 4 Bibles. Sam walks out the door. 45 minutes later, walks back in for more Bibles. So Dave was like, what is going on here? I'm going to show this kid. So he gives him 6 Bibles. An hour and a half later, Sam walks back in. Now remember, their best salesmen are selling 10 Bibles a day. It's not even lunchtime yet. Sam needs more Bibles. So Dave just can't understand, so he asks him, how are you doing this? Our best salespeople sell 10 Bibles in a day. You've sold 10 before lunchtime. Sam looks at him, shrugs his shoulders, says, well, I just asked them if they want to buy a Bible, or if they want me to read it to them. Get creative. So this is part 2 of the series, self-assessment. We have to look inward and determine, who are we? What are we dealing with here? Take inventory on ourselves before we can do anything. So I need to understand what I can do and what I enjoy doing. Those are 2 very different things. There are a lot of people out there who are able-bodied, who can do a job and are doing a job, but they hate it. They're trapped. So let's not find one of those jobs. And then most importantly, if you have a disability, a job that can fit our physical situation. What are our limitations? So we'll get into that. So what I can do is I can work on a computer fairly comfortably. I'm going to use the word fairly quite a bit in here. I've learned how to create using Canva, which is a software. I'm also getting better at some of the Google tools that are available. Everything that I use, all the software that I use is free. So I use the free version of anything and everything I can just to learn it and see if I'm going to continue using it. And if I do choose to continue using it, then I need to justify the monthly subscription cost, because that's how you use software today. I've started using ChatGPT a lot. I love this system. And I know there's some hesitation out there with the power of AI and how it could potentially encroach on our privacy and our freedoms. But that's what we all thought when bank cards came out as well. It's what we always think. And bank cards have caused some issues, but you know what? The banks have stepped up for the most part and covered any fraudulent costs that have gone against the use of those. So at the end of the day, again, we need to adapt to technology and take advantage of that. And especially with a disability, technology can allow us to work around some of these disabilities and to better adapt. I'm able to communicate clearly, and I love connecting with people, especially good people. You know what I'm talking about. So that's what I can do. Now, what I enjoy doing, I enjoy creating digital and physical art. I enjoy sharing and hearing stories. I love YouTube, both watching it and sharing on it, communicating with you. It is kind of weird to be looking into a camera and talking to nobody, but in actuality, I'm talking to you. I love spending time with my family and with my close friends. It just charges my batteries, fills my heart with love, caring, compassion. I enjoy socializing in moderation. This was even before my disability. I was fairly hesitant on the type of environment I was going to. I never did like concerts, going to music concerts. I just don't fit. I don't fit in the seats. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable. So depending on the situation, I've always struggled with the right environment to socialize in. Now I'm even more so. Being the big disabled guy, I take up even more space. So I'm fairly hesitant on doing anything social at this point. So I'd rather not, is what it boils down to. I enjoy working on meaningful, creative projects. This is contributing to that, this podcast. I get to use some creativity, and I've had some great feedback, so thank you to those out there that have reached out and have shared with me your stories and how this podcast has affected you positively. Thank you. Now, what fits my physical situation? So we just keep refining this down. What we're doing is just building the basis, the platform for this perfect job, because there is a perfect job out there for everybody, whether it's a snowplow on the front of your walker or something else. So let's take an inventory on our physical limitations. So for myself, left side affected, left side weakness. I require aids, grab bars, handrails, etc. So when I start narrowing this down, these potential jobs, it has to fit all of this criteria just in order for me to get to the job. That's probably going to be the hardest part if I get a job outside of my house, in an office, getting into the office, using the washroom. Are there any stairs? Something with limited travel, and I'm quite challenged in snow. Not looking forward to this winter. Snow and uneven terrain. I'm nervous, but willing to attempt new things. I have a big trip coming up. We fly out of here on Sunday to Victoria on Vancouver Island, and I'm quite nervous about this. That's just all the unknowns. Listing our strengths and skills can sometimes be the most difficult part. It's hard to look at ourselves and take an inventory on what we're good at. The thing that I enjoy, I found was quite easy. It's kind of like the wish list, right? So strengths and skills. I'm creative and a resourceful problem solver. There's been some times in my life where I've had some very stressful jobs and I've had to solve a lot of problems. It's taught me how to be patient, look at things from different perspectives, which also has led to me being calm and logical under stress. I have a bit of a process that I go through now when there is a problem and how I deal with that problem. And I can share that with you if you're interested. Shoot me a comment or send me an email. If you do want to email, and if you do want any of these slides and this information, you can reach me at upstrokepodcast@gmail.com. I'm also honest, I'm sincere, and I'm dependable. I'm a good person to have your back. I have strong emotional awareness and empathy. I'm adept with computers and improving with AI tools. I'm a solid communicator. I'm authentic. I'm relatable. I enjoy building and following structured plans. I enjoy working through an issue like this in a methodical manner and figuring out which components of the plan work and which ones don't work, and then tweak and adjust those, or just delete them. So I do enjoy that process. This is the easy one to complete, noting my limitations. We're all good at picking ourselves apart. So with this, I basically kept it to more physical. So with reduced mobility, I have about 10% use of my leg because of my foot and ankle, and about 85% of my arm and hand. I do get fatigued after long or very active days. My hand dexterity is something that has improved, and it continues to improve the more I use it. But it's not something, you don't want me taking a sliver out of your eyeball. I still have fear and caution when driving. I'm really taking my time with this one. And I hope it's not driving my wife and daughter crazy, driving me everywhere. But yeah, I think my biggest fear with this is hurting somebody. Being overly cautious is just as or more dangerous than being an aggressive driver. A lot of mistakes happen when you're being overly cautious. So I'm just not comfortable with this yet. So I'm going very slow. I'll start practicing more and more. But now winter's coming. What a great time to start driving. Not great. And because of fatigue, I do need to pace my energy and physical effort. Topics or industries that still excite me. Marketing, branding, and content creation has been a lot of fun throughout my career and still today. Podcasting and visual storytelling, I'm not great at it, but I do enjoy it. And it does excite me. There are components of doing the podcast that I really enjoy. Some I don't get too excited about. Some I get quite nervous about. Sitting here on camera, sometimes very difficult. But that's just made me get better. That's made me improve and learn more about editing. Cutting out the beeps. I enjoy the designing of the thumbnails and doing the graphics in Canva. That's a fun tool. Exercise and physical therapy sessions. I don't so much enjoy it at the time, but I really like the results. After that shower, I feel so alive, I feel great. The next day, the pain, the sore muscles. Third day, stronger, walking better. And especially projects that combine that, the creativity and the purpose. So there has to be some kind of a goal for me to enjoy the creative process. It has to contribute to something, whether it be helping somebody or getting me closer to reaching and achieving a goal. And then I wrote out my ideal work environment. This is basically the wish list, right? Working from home would be amazing. And a fully remote setup. So to be able to work from home, this is something that everybody wants. I think that everybody wants. So this is a very competitive job. Able-bodied people with the pandemic shutdown that started working from home, they had a hell of a time getting everybody back to the office. Once people got used to that, being able to work in shorts and pajamas, grab a coffee whenever they wanted. What a luxury. A fully remote setup would allow me to continue traveling. We've done a lot of traveling in our lives. And I would love to continue doing that once I figure this flying thing out. So being fully remote would be phenomenal. I could work from anywhere. Spend winters in Mexico or something like that. Could you imagine? Boy, that would be nice. Anything's possible, so let's dream a bit. Flexible hours and a self-managed schedule. I enjoy this. Ever since getting out of the hospital, actually I had started in the hospital in Panoka. I started getting up early, like 5-ish. And that's just continued. I never was like this before. But now I thoroughly enjoy those couple hours I get in the morning. Drinking a coffee, getting into the podcast, doing some research. I enjoy a quiet, organized workspace with creative freedom. The ideal job for me has a variable income model. So one that will allow me to excel. The more work I do, the harder I work, the more money I make. The downside to that is the less work you do, the less money you make. A lot of people struggle with not having that base salary. I've never really had an issue with that. It's a great motivator. I remember I got one paycheck in sales for $12. $12. So that was 2 weeks worth of work. That was motivating. And after that, it thoroughly excelled my career. I had a fire lit under my ass after that one. So all of these pages previous to this one is me looking at me and coming up with my ideas for me. Now the hardest part is reaching out and gathering feedback from other people. We all have those friends and relatives that have the perfect ideas for us, in their opinions. And I think for myself, my natural instinct is to push them away, shake their heads. They don't understand. They just don't get it. Well, sometimes those ideas, once that seed is planted, starts to grow. And then once I pushed it away, then it's the pride, right? Oh man, I can't let them know that I actually like that idea now. But it's worth looking into. Let's take all of those things into consideration. Get rid of that pride. Some of those ideas could be phenomenal. Just doing this podcast was someone else's idea in Pinoca. So thank you. Well, I hope this is helping somebody out there. I decided to do this because of reading a bunch of Facebook posts. I'm part of some Facebook groups that are related to stroke health and wellness, physical fitness. And there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are pretty good. I'm not a big Facebooker. I rarely post anything anymore. I've done a lot of Facebook in the past, but for my businesses. Not so much for personal. There's a little bit on there, but not much. But I do enjoy reading it. And there are a lot of people out there that have had strokes or have disabilities, and their biggest concern is getting off of government assistance or being cut off of it. And let's face it, if you're going to live off the government, you aren't going to get much money. So pretty hard to have a decent lifestyle if that's the approach you're taking. If you know anybody that this could help, send this off to them, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Feel free to share this widely. I have nothing to hide. The next episode, we'll be talking about my exploration of career paths, the different things that I'm going to start targeting. As I've done this self-assessment, things just become a little more clear. The direction and the path forward starts falling into place. So make sure you subscribe if you're interested in this. And I'll shoot out a post as well when the next video is ready. That's all I got for you today. Have a great day, and God bless.
We'll have the finest things, carve our names in stone. We'll never die unknown.